My next Nuzlocke is in the Pokemon Sinking Sapphire game. This game adds more spicy challenge and makes a lot of Pokemon available, so let's dive into the game. First was an important choice, my starter. I picked Mudkip, and progressed onwards. After beating Brendan and learning how to walk slowly, I got my first encounter, a Timpole, on Route 102. I could tell how hard things would get when Weedle and Caterpie knew Electroweb, so I was apprehensive. But I safely made it to Petalburg City, where I taught local green-haired boy how to catch a Pokemon. I caught a Swirlix and then went to the Petalburg Woods, where I caught a Pansage that was immediately killed by a Team Aqua Grunt. I also got a Shinx on Route 116 and a Paras in Rust Turf Tunnel. This shroomy boy might not seem very strong, but why do I keep doing this? Well, nothing a couple of mud slaps and rock throws can't fix. And just like that, Roxanne was defeated.
Hello there.
After I crossed the 7 seas on my pirate ship, I was in Dewford Town and ready to beat Brawly up. Bunt clapped most of his Pokemon, but his Hariyama was bulky and required that I sacrificed my Shinx while I healed. I delivered the letter to Steven, and caught a Geodude and Oddish. Then I took Team Aqua's lunch money and did a contest. This is for a special reason, because I get a Pikachu after it. This Pikachu came in handy in the fight with Brendan, where I used its Icicle Crash move. I did have to sacrifice Geodude though. After beating up Wally, it was time to take on Watson. I utilized Silt's ground-type moves to win the fight, and Chansey's incredible health statistic to give myself time to heal. I did a bit of research and realized that I could evolve Bunt with a Whipped Dream from the Slateport Pokemart, so I biked back there to get one. Then I went north and caught a Dunsparce, talked to a man who gives off Big Peter vibes, and also caught a Golett. A guy was kidnapped, so I helped Brendan sort that out in Meteor Falls. I headed to the top of Mount Chimney to fight Archie, but this Tentacruel somehow stayed alive on 1 HP and killed Brian. I went down the mountain and fought Flannery, then headed to the desert, where I used Thief to steal some fossils. Then I revived them in Rustbora City, a la Jurassic Park.
A DNA strand like me is a blueprint for building a living thing. And sometimes animals that went extinct millions of years ago, like dinosaurs, left their...
Next I fought the new gym leader, Norman.
Monkey.
I could surf now, so I headed east and Steven took me to Magical Fairy Island, where I was given the Larchias plus Mega Bracelet Wombo combo. In the Weather Institution I fought Team Aqua again, but the battle against Shelly took a toll on me. I had a close call with Nanabri, my new Trupius, and Swampert was killed by Freeze Dry, an ice-type move that does super effective damage to water-type Pokemon, turning them into frozen beef jerky. I beat Brendan and then went to Fortree City. An invisible wall kept me from entering the gym, so I headed to Route 120 and summoned a swarm of Combusken, then talked to Steven to get the Sylph Scope, plus this stone I won't even be able to use. Now I could enter the gym. Now it was time to fight Winona. My strategy was to send out Hansi and use up all of its moves so it was able to use Last Resort, which deals massive damage. It worked until his health was running low, and I switched into my Misdreavus while I healed him. I let the Misdreavus faint for a free switch in to do the original strat again. After I beat her I went to the Safari Zone where I caught a Meowstic. Then I went to Mount Bayer and reflected a bit. Before catching a lit wick, preceding the beating up of Team Aqua, I was gifted a red orb. After that, I fished up a whalema that will be important later, and stormed Team Aqua's impressive hideout. I had a battle with 5 grunts at once. Then fought Matt, in a battle that killed Nanabri the Tropius. Then I headed to Moss Deep City and entered the gym. Tate and Liza didn't give me too much trouble, but after leaving the gym an earthquake happened. After chatting with Steven, who gave me scuba gear, I dove underwater and caught a relicanth, which allows me to bring my plan to fruition. I did some exploring until I reached this cave and learned to read Braille. After lots of waiting, I unlocked the cave that took me to Reggie Ice, and caught it in my master ball. Now to continue the plot. After fighting Archie, who created a big grain, I went to the Cave of Origin, where I caught Noivern, and then challenged Kyogre. The legendary beast managed to kill Hansi, but eventually I took it out. I was given the Ian flute to fly in the sky, so I headed off to Route 114 to buy a Blazikenite. I went to Shoal Cave and caught an Avalugg, then fought Wallace. It was a battle riddled with close calls, but I made it through in one piece. Then, I was ready to enter Victory Road. After conversing with Wally, I headed to the Pokemon League. Sydney, looking drippier than ever with that ice on his wrist, was easily defeated. I used Bulk Up to raise Chick-fil-A's attack power, and thanks to Speed Boost, outsped and decimated his team with Sky Uppercut. Phoebe was more difficult, but Carbon's Phantom Force attack was of great help here. I used Bowl's Dragon Breath attack in conjunction with Quiver Dance to take out her Sableye. Glacier, like Sydney, was easily taken care of using Sky Uppercut. There was a close call when I used Flare Blitz and suffered a lot of recoil damage, but I scraped through. Drake was, once again, the toughest of the Hoenn Elite Four. I was able to use Flo's Blizzard move to deal massive damage, but I had to sacrifice Sonic the Noivern while I restored his PP. Finally, there was the champion, Steven. For this battle I mostly used Chick-fil-A and Jello to deal with his steel and ground type Pokemon. At the end, only his Metagross remained. Tensions rose as we both mega evolved our Pokemon and well, I guess that's that. It may not have looked like it, but this hack was actually much harder than the previous ones I played, so I'm happy I managed to complete it. Anyways, see you in the next video. By the way, if you're wondering about that Reggie Ice I caught, yeah, that was just for shits and giggles.